Priority 1, understand why the COVID economy. In this video we'll look at 2019. What we relied on was already uncertain and unstable. COVID-19 was a drop off the performance cliff. The paradigm lost, madness rising and mad investment, and we'll explain that in quite a bit of detail. We had whole systems disruption occurring at that time, but in this case there is a way forward. So let's look at 2019. What we relied on was already uncertain and unstable. Financial systems were still in the grip of the 11-year global financial crisis. Socially, we had income inequality, which was impacting cultures and social norms, and fake politics leadership was rife. Also, we had digital disruption, and that was just amongst one of the things that was occurring in terms of disruptive change. We had the future of work was uncertain, and the growing cost of climate change was becoming real to people. Also, disruptive change was coming across all systems and growing exponentially, but still, too many ignored the inevitable and only few innovated within the reality of these new operating conditions. So 2019 was not perfect, and then bang! In January of this year, 2020, there was a drop-off in performance. We went off the cliff in terms of COVID-19 and its impact on business performance. Now, this was a terrible health crisis, but also an immediate loss of what was already an uncertain, unstable performance era. We had paradigm lost. Any sense of certainty was gone, and social economic norms were gone. We were disorientated, and the rise of false profits, fake news, and illusionary sustainable growth, and a false sense of security, all of that was rife. Now, in this environment, madness was rising. Now, let me explain what I mean by mad. MAD as an MAD, managed adaptive decline. And what that's really about is blindly adopting to declining conditions, albeit in a well-managed manner. Looking good, going nowhere. And what we had is a bit like the boiling frog. Stick it into water, heat it up, and it will adapt and adapt and adapt until it dies. We also had MAD investments, managed adaptive decline investments. Once again, looking really good but going nowhere. And these, as we were declining, we're making these investments to actually try and stabilise ourselves, and they were going down. So business as usual, like squeezing blancmange into declining conditions, throwing good and maybe borrowed money after MAD. The crash test dummy syndrome was alive and well, or is alive and well, with our people. Disoriented people, already change exhausted from the past, forced to endure more pain, and investing in lost futures. BS visions and missions of the past, of a planning regime of the 19th and 20th century that just does not work. So what we have is whole systems disruption now. Social, economic, business profit models, demand supply systems, financial, urban planning, transport, and the list goes on globally. But this is not the time to let confusion exacerbate the crisis. There is a crisis, but there is also a way forward. But that requires us to respond to the right questions, not necessarily following business as usual blindly and working into madness. There is this way forward, and we need to ask these questions like, do you really understand the COVID economy? Are you really clear on what this environment is now? Secondly, have you and your leadership team the mindset, skill set, and strategic focus to leverage disruption and generate sustainable value? So in our next video, we'll look at defining the COVID economy. We'll look at the big risks to immediately mitigate. We'll also reveal some of the opportunities and also make a call to action to our innovators. So think about it, and I'll see you in the next video.